Okay, yeah. So I'm gonna try to see if I can record the next two in one video. I was trying a new record thing and it doesn't let me pause. So it literally just stopped and then I didn't feel like re-recording. So, all right, so for the second example, I'm gonna do number 4. Um, and so here we have a post. It's supported by 2 wires, one on each side, going in opposite directions, creating an angle of 80 degrees between the wires. Okay, so we have like a post. We have 2 wires like that, and it's creating an 80-degree angle between the wires. Not 80 degrees on each side, but 80 degrees total. Now, do not assume that each side is 40 and 40, okay? That's not what we're going to do here because we don't have enough information yet to know if that's working or anything like that, right? So we don't have that. Now, the ends of the wires are 12 meters apart. And then with one wire forming an angle of 40 degrees with the ground. Okay, so now with that being said, I know that within this triangle, I have an 80-degree angle here, I have 40 degrees here. Okay, so we'll call this, I don't want to use numbers, so we're going to say A, B, and C again here. And so since we know 40 and 80, we can find this angle here, 180 minus 80, minus 40. So that's going to make this 60 degrees. Okay, just by default there. All right, and so then I have, this was 12 meters apart. Okay, so now the fact that I do have an opposite side with this angle, I can use law of sines. Okay, and so what we're going to do here, we're trying to find the length of the wires. So we're trying to find side C and side A. So we're going to use just the law of sines. So we're going to say the sine of 80 over 12. You want to make sure that you're using the angle and side that go together. Okay, so sine of 80 over 12 equals, and then just let's go with 40, just because they gave us that first. Sine of 40 over side A. And then we're going to solve. Again, when you're solving this, we've done this a couple times, but you make sure that you are getting A out of that denominator. Okay, but then since we're again going to be getting A by itself, then now we have to move all of this to the other side. So what we're going to go ahead and do is multiply by 12 on both sides. And then what ends up canceling out is the 12 and the A. And on this side, we get, I'm trying to like do too much with these. Okay, so then on this side, we get A sine of 80 equals 12 sine of 40. Remember, you can't touch the 40, so I'm not saying 40 times 12. All right, and then I'm just going to divide by the sine of 80. That's going to get A by itself. So in my calculator, I'm just typing all that in. A equals, so we can do it all at once if we want to, parentheses 12 sine of 40, close it, divide by sine of 80. So we get A to be 7.8324. Okay, so that's there. And then I'm just going to do another law of sines to find side C. So I'm just going to say sine of 80 over 12 equals sine of 60 over C. And then just go through literally the same process to find side C. So I'm going to multiply by C, multiply by 12. So that's going to make it 12 sine of 60. Then I'm going to divide by the sine of 80. Okay, and so this comes out to C equaling 10.55 0.26. So there's the length of the wires there. Okay. All right, so last problem. So that one didn't take too long. Law of sines are way easier. I love those. All right, last problem is number 8. So this is going to be a law of cosine. All right, so to estimate the length of a lake, Caleb starts at one end of the lake and walks 95 meters. So I don't really want to draw. All right, so we got a lake, and to estimate the length of the lake, Caleb starts at one end of the lake and walks 95 meters. He then turns and walks a new path, which is 120 degrees to the direction that he was first walking in. So he walks a new path, but that new path is 120 degrees in the direction that he started in. Okay, so this is 120 degrees in that direction that he started in. So he started here, and then he ended over here, but this new path is 120 degrees from in the direction. All right, he walks 87 meters, so this was 95, and then he walks 87 meters, not drawing the scale, so obviously this side looks longer, until he arrives at the other end of the lake. Approximately how long is the lake? So we're looking for approximately that. Okay, so we'll call this x. All right, so since I do not have this opposite side with this angle, I cannot use the law of sines. So sadly, yes, we have to use the law of cosine. Okay, now with this, x is what we're looking for. So x squared equals, and then I'm just going to utilize the other two sides. So 95 squared plus 87 squared minus 2. Now, when you are remembering this formula, remember that, like, so technically if this was like a squared and this was b squared and this was c squared, remember when you do this part, it's going to be 2bc. So the two letters that are on this side are also going to be over here. So it's 2 times bc or ab, or whatever the two letters are. So in this case, whatever these two numbers are. So 95 and 87. So we got this, and then it's going to be cosine of the angle that goes with x, which is 120. So at this point, we're not actually having to solve for the angle, so this is easy, because now I'm just going to go in and do 95 squared. Now it is going to be like more tedious of just making sure you type this in right, but you know, we got this part. So 2 parentheses 95, and I'm literally just going to type the whole thing in, close that, cosine 120. And my mode should still be a degree mode. So I hit enter, and so I get this 24515. 24515. All right, that is not my answer though. X is not that many meters apart. Okay, so what we got to do is square root both sides, square root, and then we get x equals 156, 5727. 5727. Okay, double check 5727. Okay, so that's how many meters apart, or that's how many meters that lake is roughly. All right, so that covers some law of sines, some law of cosines. Remember, law of sines, if you have the opposite angle, then you're good to go. So as long as you, if you have the opposite angle and the opposite side, then you're good to go for law of sines. If you do not have that, you must use law of cosines. Okay. All right. And yeah, I think that covers everything. Okay. All right. See y'all tomorrow.